everybody. Thank you very much for being with us today. And a special thank you to Roberta Franceschetti and Elisa Salamini from Mamamo, who helped us design this new award. And a big thank you to the whole jury, not only for the great work they did for us, but for the important support they gave us step by step along this new adventure. It gives me great pleasure to open this meeting because I really think that BCBF's long-standing focus on the cross-media nature of children's content is one of our feathers in the cap. In the mid-90s, we organized the first World Conference on Children's Electronic Publishing, and that's the way it was called at that time. In 2002, we created with the Microsoft Foundation the first Children's eBook Award. It was definitely too soon. We had to suspend it because the number of ebooks for children was too small. In 2010, we started the BolognaRagazzi Digital Award dedicated to children's apps. And we started also the Bologna Licensing Trade Fair dedicated to the world of properties and its relationship with the world of books. Warren Buckleitner, Christina Angelucci, Neil Hoskins are the great persons and professionals who have been working with us to develop all this and to enable the fair to become the only truly global event, not only in the field of children's books, but more widely in that of content for young people. Today's meeting is a magnificent stage in all this history, and especially in its future. And this is very meaningful for us to announce the first winner of this brand new award. It is an award that pays tribute to publishers and professionals who have designed important projects to transfer content between different media. Thank you very much again for joining us today. And please let me say that I do look forward to welcoming you all in Bologna next spring.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to announce the winner of the prize on behalf of the jurors in our Zoom deliberations, the first ever. The winner is Snail and the Whale. It is based on the classic best-selling picture book by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler, who is no stranger to mixed media. We've given his work awards in digital media before. This is a story that tells us it's about a small snail who would love to travel the world, but can't do it until she meets a whale. And the whale gives her a lift, and she is able to expand her horizons until, of course, disaster strikes and the snail saves the day. The story uses the power of 3D CGI stop motion to leverage the narrative, and the result is a delight for everybody's eyes and ears, both young and old. So that is the final choice. It was quite a unanimous choice among the jurors, and I think that it's a project that everyone should have a look at.
And for me, the first one is related to the brilliant authors who are very well known for their work, which is Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. And The Snail and the Whale is the TV production of that picture book. And although TV productions and animated TV productions are not necessarily new. I think the remit here was to look at how that expansion of the media from book to screen had been performed in our view. And I was delighted by the fact that I think a lot of Axel and Julia's books are so very charming. They have a very warm heart. And sometimes I think animated films can take that away by presenting new scripts and character bases and voices. But for this one, I was glad to see that the poetics, the kind of rhyme and rhythm of the book was actually kept almost down to every word. And I think that's a really a fine point for the filmmakers and producers, where they were able to keep this lovely story told in a sort of rhyming poetry, in very much reminded me of the sort of Edward Lear form of kind of magical and somewhat absurd poetry. But in this case, it's the story, of course, of a snail and a whale and their adventures together, and has all the aspects of a good modern story and important issues about conservation and the natural environment. But looking at it and coming back to the actual production, the sort of almost 3D like animation. I'm not sure if the film came out in 3D as well as a 2D film. It's rich colors, it's delightful music that was added in to the story. Obviously, I think it all was balanced out very well, and so it didn't seem harsh or pushing the story into a new realm without kind of going back to its original format. So I very much enjoyed that, and I thought it was a great evocation of the story on the big screen, and very enjoyable, as all of Axel and Julia's stories are. I think they were able to transport Axel's very beautiful and such a well-known style into something slightly different on screen. It wasn't just Axel's artwork, it was an animated version of it, and I think that worked very well.
The second title is Hilda. Hilda is a graphic novel series by Luke Pearson, published by Fly Night Books, that has become a TV series on Netflix. Hilda, the main character, is a girl who grew up happily with her mother in a forest populated by giants, water spirits, trolls, and wooden men. She's suddenly forced to move to the town of Trollberg, where she starts an apparently more normal life, with school and new friendships. However, soon she discovers that she's a sort of magnet for strange and magical creatures that live hidden also in town. And Hilda can thus return to live new adventures in the company of two new friends, her schoolmates Frida and David. The TV series perfectly captures the most fascinating feature of Hilda, which is also one of the traits of best children's literature: the ability to find mystery and magic in the world. For Hilda, the whole world is animated, inhabited by men, but also by non-human creatures. Also, Hilda's friends, kids as well as grown-ups, can see the strange creatures who live side by side with them, but they have to open their eyes and their heart to be terrified at first, then surprised, and finally involved in the stories. Hilda's vision of what is real is richer, and her humanity is broader than what adults are able to see. And this is one of the aspects that have captured us the most. Book and cartoon offer us a sampling of monsters with neuroses, bad characters, and stories of loneliness behind them, told with humor and wit. And we fall for them because they make Hilda's world more real and more modern. We appreciated particularly the fact that the cartoon series is able to go beyond the stories told by graphic novels and to expand their narratives, drawing on today's children's imagination.
On the interactive side, it was good to see an old familiar face, Mini Bombo, in 2D El Contrario, or the other way around, where a playful adaptation of a book to let you manipulate the animals from the story in a beautiful aesthetic, but also a good pedagogical idea in that you can play with the extremes of the animals and in a real creative way. And so that was wonderful as well.
The second digital product, which I looked at and enjoyed immensely, and this is on the short list, is Merci Le Vent, and that's by the Bayard Press in the Bayard Press from France. This is a platform that the jury has looked at before because it comes from the Bayam.tv platform. It's a cross-platform product. It's very much something that is a real challenge to do for publishers. So it's very much commend Bayard for continuing to develop this library of multimedia materials. I found it again, this actual story or activity based around art and shapes was very simple. You could there were endless ways to play with this small application or kind of art game, I would call it. It would work very well in the classroom, I think, on a whiteboard, which I would imagine since the times of the pandemic, I think Bayern and the Bayard Press have seen a lot of usage of this platform within schools or even home setting. There were a number of simple activities you could do with it. We did feel that perhaps looking at both the app and the web online version, probably the app with using your hands and the interface that's within applications is slightly more suited to this form of activity. But I think the charm, the wonderful art, a perfect balance between simple shapes and ability to add to these shapes with your own drawing. So the imagination of the child is brought into the product. You can make your own versions of it, but with a lovely additional little video at the beginning to show you all the mixture of sound, shape, movement, and color. And I think those things have been done very well together.
The first one is Mallory Towers, the live action adaptation of the Enid Blyton books produced by the BBC and Family Channel in Canada. I found this is a really faithful rendition of the Mallory Towers series, which I really loved when I was 11, 12. It's a beautifully filmed series. The universe, situated in the 1940s, is very well done. The sets are beautiful. The countryside is beautiful. The characters are wonderful. There are the universal characters of the nice girl, the mean girl. I really liked how they treated the themes of bullying, resilience, second chances, redemption, and all of those for adults and children. The lessons transmitted by the series, there were old-fashioned lessons such as brushing your hair 100 times a night. There were modern day lessons such as we must always take the high road, as Michelle Obama would say, and give people a second chance, be the bigger person. There were a lot of nuances in the relationships between the students at Mallory Towers, which I really liked. It's become an instant hit, and I think it'll become an evergreen.
The first is Claude, and Claude is a book series by Alex Smith, and it has become a very successful TV series aired on Disney Junior worldwide in over 150 countries. The books have sold over 5,000 copies in over 20 languages. The show and the book series follow the adventures of Claude and his best friend, Sir Bob Lizoc, in their seaside town of Powhatan. I have found that the TV series development is faithful to the books in terms of style and characters design. The TV series looks to be richer in backgrounds, of course, as all the TV developments should be. Also, the distribution of the TV series corresponds to the international awareness of these books. And I think that the TV series as well has kept the target of the book and that is addressed to the very young readers, the early young readers, and also the same style and humor.
The first one is Vocine Vocione, which is a book published by Il Castoro that tells the story of Ninin, son of the Frastuono family. In English, it sounds like the Uproar family. Ninin's parents are the owners of a special shop where sounds and noises of all kinds are on sale. The book was made into a voice-up titled Il Negozio dei Rumori, the Noise Shop, with which you can enter the magical shop described in the book and listen to hundreds of sounds and noises while observing the book illustrations on devices with a screen. The app does not substitute the book, but rather goes along with reading and expanding its boundaries while maintaining the book at the center. Audio content plays an increasing role in children's media consumption habits, and we can see that in market data for audiobooks and podcasts that keep growing. This trend was accelerated by the pandemic to the point that some important stores, such as Audible, have created a special section for kids and have promoted the production of original content. Voice apps for devices such as Alexa or Google's voice assistant, compared to other audio content, offer the opportunity of interaction. And as in the case of Vocine Vocione, they can offer interesting ways to switch from the book to the voice app with an expansion of the narrative experience on different media. The child is at the center of the experience because he makes the story go on through voice interaction. For this reason, and because audio has much lower production costs than apps and video contents, I believe this field represents an interesting area of market to test for publishers.
The second show that I'm speaking about today is called Pom Pom Ours. It's an animated show produced by France Télévisions, producers Super Monks in France, and the publishers are Helium Publishers in France. It's a charming series. I actually discovered the series first and then the book, and I found that the series was very faithful to the book in terms of the decors, the feel of the book, the challenges for the character Pom Pom Ours. The universe that he exists in is very close to the universe of the book. beautiful decors. He becomes autonomous with his parents in the background, allowing him to become autonomous in a very discreet way. I love the fact that there's a role reversal for the parents' traditional roles, and mom is at work and dad is at home keeping an eye on Pompomours as he discovers the world from the sidelines. I also very much like the fact that Pompomours is the motor in the episodes, and he is the one who moves the action forward and always close at hand with dad. I think it's a beautifully produced series and very well deserving of its role on the shortlist.
The other title I would love to share with you is about the Zen short book that is titled Still Water in the TV series development. I have really enjoyed this title and many aspects of its development. First, it is an Apple TV offer, and it is a streaming platform that recently is really rising with an extremely original offer in terms of animation with the target for children and not only also for family. So they are very original in their selection. And the TV series as well has been produced by two giants of the industry who are the French Gaumont and also Scholastic in US, who is also the publisher of the original book. In this case, also there are some plushes which are produced by Merrymaker's Dolls. The main story has a very delicate watercolor drawing. I refer to the books, alternated with a different style and ink colors when the main protagonist, the panda, talks about his memories. And these flashbacks that the panda does are to help children to face better their feelings and to find more a very good way to face what they are their main challenges. This style of the watercolor drawings and ink colors are developed in a new way and different way as a TV series. So the watercolor in the book corresponds to the 3D animation in the TV series, and the ink colors correspond to a 2D development series animation in the same episodes. So this way to alternate 3D together with 2D, I've found it very original, and also it has somehow respected the style of the book. Also, they are two very different products if you see the book and the TV series, but somehow they wanted to be faithful to the way they were working between the present and the flashback of the protagonist. And I would say that in this case, as the launch was on December 2020, I think there is still a bright future for this IP, and there will be still a lot to do for its development.
Another title that we looked at that I think is worth mentioning, and it's called the animated coloring book Matisse. And we always like to see products that use the camera and leverage the potential of the technology to put the child in the screen and not the other way around. In other words, when the child can control the screen by coloring with very low tech kinds of tools and also put their face in, it gives them the power and lets them be the producer and so on. And that is the true magic of this medium. So at the end of the day, we had a new jury, a new mix of people, new voices, and a lot to learn. And we all are walking away with some choices that we think everyone should have a look at and will probably learn a little bit from. Thank you very much.